They say success is 80% mindset and 20% strategy. But what if I told you your mindset is invincible? On today's episode of the King Obed Podcast, I have with me Curtis McCullom, who is a human potential coach and a mindset breakthrough expert. In this episode, we are going to look into why your energy determines your success. And again, we are delving deeper into how you can come back from your breakthroughs and all the things that you go through as an individual, and that one mindset you need in order to go through the challenge of this life. He is a man who has helped people, businessmen, entrepreneurs, to identify their blind spot and in order to turn them into a breakthrough to get success in whatever they do. This is the man I'm seated with today on the King Obed Podcast. Welcome to the King Obed Podcast, Curtis.
Hey, thank you for having me today, Obed.
Great. How has it been? How has the journey been so far?
It's been great. You know, when you talk about mindset and you talk about individuals, that's my passion. I get up early and I stay up late because that's something I love talking about. Individuals to understand the power of their mind and how their mindset actually controls their destiny.
But at what point did you realize that this is the way to go, that the human mindset is the greatest tool we need as individuals?
Really and truly, I learned when I was even in high school. When I was in high school, I always used the power of my imagination and the power of manifestation to get the things that I wanted. You know, even like I said before, I was in high school. I wanted to become number one in the state of Mississippi as a track and field participant. And I saw it, I dreamed it, and wow, it came true. So I knew early on that the power of the mind was a tool that we all need to kind of harness and also master so that we can get the things that we want in life. So I've been practicing this stuff practically most of my life for sure.
So you think as a human potential coach and a mindset breakthrough expert, you think that the mindset or the human mind is the greatest tool every human needs? Because I've heard people debate that mindset, you need a mindset though, but there are certain things you need as well, which can cushion you for you to be successful in this life. Yeah. You don't only need the mindset. How true is it?
I think it's a combination. I think you need mindset. Mindset basically will determine how far you go. Usually, if you think about it like this, we need skill, right? I need some type of skill to do what I do. I need motivation or the know-how to do what I do. But what is the difference that makes the difference? The difference is that now with mindset is that other key component that actually makes everything works even better. Meaning, I could push through something, right? If I wanted to lose weight, right, I could with just pure perseverance and push, I can get there, but I won't get there in style. I get there with pure just mind brain power. Now with mindset, what it does is that allows me to now, like you said before in your opening, utilize more of my mind, 20% of my mental power that will drive 80% of the results. The other 20 still need to come from somewhere, but I think portion of it, if we can actually control our mind, that 80% is easily done. To give you a statistic, according to Dr. Bruce Lipton in the book of Biology of Beliefs, he states that our conscious mind only contributes about 5% of what we do every day, meaning our willpower, our analysis, logic, and all these things come from our conscious mind. 95% is from our subconscious mind, which I deal with, meaning that that's where all the power is. That's our beliefs, our values, who we are, who we're going to become, and what's going to actually prevent us from becoming the best version of ourselves.
Was there a moment in your life that you realized that mindset was everything? Way back, you got it way back when you were in high school.
Yeah. Basically, like I said, I started in high school. Then when I got my first job, I utilized mindset, meaning like I woke up early, did self-hypnosis as a part of what I teach my clients. So I utilize 3 modalities that all deal with mindset. One is I'm a clinical hypnotherapist. So we do hypnotherapy and hypnosis in my sessions. We also utilize neuro-linguistic programming. That's the language our mind speaks. And then we also utilize what I call mental and emotional release, so that we can release all the baggage, limiting beliefs, our guilt, our shame, all the things that prevent us, those feelings that I'm not good enough, the imposter syndrome. We get rid of all of those things so that a person can actually flow through life easier.
So people are confused when it comes to this thing. When you tell them that your mind is the most powerful tool you have as an individual, and like the Bible says that as a man thinketh, so as he is. So sometimes they say, okay, you can think to become the person you are. There's a book called Think and Grow Rich. It emphasizes how great the mind is. But still people are confused as to whether the greatest thing we need or the greatest thing we have as humans is the mind. Is it really the case that the greatest thing we need or we have is the mind?
Well, I put it like this. My mother-in-law, she suffered from dementia. And dementia, basically, she had no control of her mind. Yeah. And without her mind, she was just a shell of a person. So when you're talking about the power of the mind going that far over, how it actually affects us. Also in the Bible, it talks about, it says, protect your mind, protect your thoughts, for out of it flows the issues of life. So what he's saying is there is put a garrison around your mind, because everything flows from it. Is it everything? No, you still got to have some energy. You still got to have some other things that goes along with it. But if you have a stronger mindset, then you can get to where you want to go easier without a lot of more effort. That's the key to it.
So in all of this mindset, what actually is the mindset? What are the components of the mindset that will determine how far I go in life?
And basically, it's how you talk to yourself, our language that we utilize. I tell one of the things I used to do when I was younger is that how our mind focuses on things. If I said, Obed, right now, do not think about a pink elephant sitting on a white picket fence. Don't even try to think about it. Don't even consider a white elephant sitting on a picket fence. And I will ask you right now, what's the first thought that came to mind? It was a white elephant sitting on a picket fence. Why? That's the way our mind works. It's because of the fact that we move towards our dominant thoughts. Basically, we have in our minds a reticular activating system that once we put it out into the universe, our mind and our subconscious start to hone in on that what we want. So one of the challenges with the mind is it has a two-edged sword. And the two-edged sword is this: I can think negative or I think positive, and I have a better chance of getting what I want if I think positive than negative. And that's why it's been statistically shown that 80% of all illnesses come from what? The way we think. So when we talk about the mind, how powerful it is like, it's extremely important. And I think you mentioned in the Bible earlier, and Jesus says something like this. He says, given it shall be given unto you, pressed down, shaken together, roll it over. Whatever you put out is going to come back to you. Well, that passage there can also mean that, think about our mind. Whatever we put out into the universe, that's what's going to come back to us. And guess how it's going to come? It's not going to come in small trickles. It's going to come as an avalanche. So it's so important that how we control our mind, how we control our thoughts, all of that's important.
But what do you think is the main reason why people are not able to accept that fact and then are not able to utilize or maximize their mind to a point that they can be able to do what they are supposed to do?
Well, because of all of their beliefs, their values, how they grew up. See, this is what happens in our communication, is that a thought comes in. Remember, we talked about the 5% and the 95%. When a thought comes into our mind, our critical mind then filters it. It generalizes, distorts, and deletes information. So think about it like this. We have 2 million bits of information coming to us every second. We can only process 100, 110, 140 bits of information. So what happens with the mind is a thought comes in, then it immediately is distorted, deleted, and generalized based on your beliefs, your knowns, your values, your attitudes, your memories, your decisions, and your language, and all of your energy, so that a person cannot see what they don't see. A person cannot get it what they don't get, because of the fact that you have not been programmed for that. So everything that you've learned from the age of 0, and some people believe it even in the womb, all the things that you've learned is now coming up. So if you have not learned that the power of the mind is important, then you're going to take that thought and it's going to come up with, it's not important. So it's like you have to be conditioned or reconditioned to know what's important or not important.
So the beliefs, your attitudes, and everything that you form now has a role to play on the personality you become and the kind of mindset you have as an individual.
Absolutely. Has everything to do with it. All the things that I've learned in life, good, better, and different, has made me the man I am today. Now, this is the power of it, though. Our brain is plastic, meaning that it can change. The thing about it is that wherever you are in life on your journey, that doesn't mean you have to stay there. That means that now if I want to learn, grow, and expand and transform, that's the mindset the framework in which I coach from. If you decide to change, you can change. If you decide to do more, you can do more. But you got to decide, and you got to want to, and then you got to be willing to go through the exercises and, I would say, the pain to get to the next step. Is just not going to happen. It just doesn't do that.
So does it mean there is a direct correlation between the belief system of a person and the mindset and the kind of person you become in life?
Absolutely. All of your beliefs, all of that, think about it, it's like your beliefs, your norms, your values, your attitudes, your memories, your decisions, your language, your energy, your time, and your space. All of that makes you who you are. As you said before, as a man thinketh, so is he. That means that your thoughts, then basically the power of your thoughts determine where you are in life. So everything counts. That's why some simple things like this. This is one of the simple things I do if I'm watching television and a pharmaceutical commercial comes on, I immediately mute it. I mean, here in the United States, think about it. Why would individuals pay billions of dollars to advertise medications that I cannot go out and buy? It doesn't really make sense.
Yeah.
So that means that it's developing, it's actually putting a memory, or it's normalizing illness. That's what it's doing. So it's working on the mind without even knowing it. Think about it. Why would a person spend billions of dollars on stuff I can't go out and buy? But people sit there and listen to it, and they dance into the commercials, and all of a sudden, boom, they pop into their subconscious mind that illness is okay. So yeah, it's very powerful.
A couple of times using the phrase subconscious blind spots.
Yes.
Now, for anybody who will be watching us or listening to us, what actually is it?
Basically, we talked about it a little bit before, that our conscious mind is about 5% of our behavior.
Yeah.
Think about if they could picture in their mind an iceberg, right? An iceberg in the ocean. And at the tip of the iceberg, that would be your conscious mind. That's your reasoning, your analysis, your willpower, your logic, your decision making. That's the thing you said, I want to set a goal. That's what you start with. That's the goal. Then what happens is that when we have a thought, it goes into our minds, to our critical mind, which is a filter that determines what the subconscious mind already believes. So it's going to look down in your subconscious and says, hey, I remember a thought that was similar to that one, based on your beliefs, based on your values, based on your attitudes, memories, and decision-making. And all of that basically comes up with the thought that this is what I want to believe. This is the key to it too. It deals with things that are similar. So if there is a hurt, or there is a pain, or there is a setback or heartbreak that you experienced in the past, and something similar comes into your subconscious, it's going to go find that and link it to that same memory, because it's kind of, think about it, it's kind of lazy. It basically look for similarities. That's why I distort things, delete, and generalize, so they can come up with an answer quickly. So that's kind of part of it. Conscious is 5%. That's the reasoning, analysis, willpower, logic, and the decision making. And the subconscious is the big part of it. That's where all of our knowns, beliefs, and values, and memories, and all that stuff lie.
So that is actually what is stemmed by your subconscious blind spots.
Right. So a blind spot is an area which a belief is now distorted that needs to be cleared up. One would be like, a blind spot would be a feeling or emotion that I'm not good enough, or a thought that I'm not worthy. Is that true or not true? It's not true, but it's true to you. It's true to you because that's what you believe.
Yeah.
So my job as a human potential coach is to now help you reframe that belief of that you're not good enough, that you are great, you're more than worthy, or you're not worthy to you're worthy, not good enough that you are good enough. But there is a process that we go through in order to get a person to that level. If you just say, this is what a person normally just start with affirmations, right? They go in the mirror and says, it's like go in the mirror and says, I'm good enough. I'm the best.
Yeah.
I'm the best.
I can do this. Yeah.
Right. I can do this. Well, this is the thing. In reality, you can't. And what happens is your subconscious mind fight it. It's like, no. You remember when you were on the playground and that guy kicked your butt? You remember when you were on the basketball court and you didn't do that well? So basically what we have to do then is reframe all of it so that now the new belief, the subconscious mind accepts the new belief, so that now when I'm doing my affirmation, it's congruent with my who I want to become. Fake it till you make it. You can push and push and push, but if you don't clear up the baggage, it's going to soon rise to the top.
Okay. So in terms of success, I've heard people say the mindset is everything. Once you have the right mindset, regardless of which environment, wherever you find yourself, you can make it, you can be successful. And so with this, you are telling us that now what the mindset, the subconscious mind has a stored memory of the things we've gone through, of the things we've experienced, we've seen. And so even if logically we think that we can achieve something, now it has to now correlate or confirm or conform to what the subconscious mind believes already.
Yes. So then, but you can change it. How you change it, right? The way to change it is a couple of things you can do to change it. You can change it through repetition. So if you do something over and 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 over again, your subconscious mind says, "Oh, that's what we're supposed to be doing," and so it gets on board and it changes. So you can do it through meditation. So I'm thinking a thought. Basically, think about your mind like a muscle, right? I can change the dynamics of my muscle by me working it on a different level. Yeah. But if you just kind of push through it, sometimes you can get it, but it might take a longer time to do that. So repetition, basically, think about it like this. A person can actually establish a negative belief instantly by something that happens in their life. And then we have to go in and change it. If something drastically happened, if a person, I was in a bad car accident 30 years ago, and when I hit the wall, now I had a phobia, or I had a feeling or a thought or nervousness or anxiousness about driving on the freeway. Well, that one instant formulated that thought. So now I have to go back and reprogram it and rethink it so that now when I'm driving, I don't have that nervousness or the anxiousness because of that. So yeah, you could definitely change it.
So you are now saying that, one, I can have the right strategy. Two, I can have the right mentor and still sabotage my success or myself because I do not have the right mindset.
Absolutely. I've been there. I've been there. Think about it like this. You remember I told you some of my successes. One of my successes was when I started in financial services about 40 years ago, 35, 40 years ago, I stood up in front of my cohort, my class, and gave them my number one speech. I said, this is what I'm going to say when I become number one in the company. I had not sold anything at that point, but utilizing the stuff that I teach, I did self-hypnosis. I did the fire walk through Tony Robbins. I did reading. I studied. I listened to tapes. I motivated myself all the way through it. And then less than a year and a half later, voila, I was number one in the world. I broke records and I did it all. Guess what happened once I got that? I sabotaged because I had a blind spot. I had a memory. I had a thought that, what is this all about? Can I keep this up? Am I good enough to continue to do this? And so I sabotaged. And what I found was this, Obed, is that if we don't know that belief, yeah, we can get the goal. Sometimes we can get it. Or sometimes if we want to do $1,000, right? We get up to 100, we get up to 80, and then all of a sudden we stop. And we sabotage because our beliefs, our values are out of line, and it won't ever let us break that barrier because somewhere in our subconscious, we feel like we're not worthy, we're not good enough, or money is not good, or money is evil, what all those thoughts may be. That prevents us from actually getting to go. So you can push, you can have the right mentor, you can do all the other things. If a part of your mind, if you have a blind spot that's preventing you from breaking through, it's going to be very difficult for you to break.
If I come to you right now as a human potential coach and a mindset breakthrough expert. And I myself, I may not know whether I have blind spots, as you have put it, or not. How are you able to identify that I, Obed, have a number of blind spots which is preventing me from activating my mind? And then what processes would you take me through to be able to take away those blind spots for me to be able to act at my highest peak?
First of all, when a person comes to me, Obed, they already know they got a blind spot because they're not.
They know their sickness.
Well, basically, think about it. The reason they come to me is because they're not getting what they want, right?
Sure.
Basically, so take it from there. They already know they have a blind spot, but they don't know what it is.
They know their problem already.
They have a problem.
Yeah.
Nobody pays the kind of money to me and come to me for me to help them find out what they already know. No, they already know, hey, the reason they coming to me is because I've tried everything and I can't get it. I'm trying my best to have the best relationships. I'm trying my best to break through my job and my career, and I'm trying my best to do everything, and nothing's working. They come to me and they sit down with me. The first thing we do is I do a 3-hour, 1-day mindset reset. What that does is that we sit down and we figure out what is the root cause and what is the greater issue that you are experiencing that's preventing you from actually becoming the best version of yourself. So in that 3-hour session, we're talking about the history. When did it start? When did you first felt like that? Was there any other emotions around that? And usually what's going to come up is I was angry, I was sad, I was guilty, felt like I wasn't good enough, I felt like I wasn't worthy. What we're doing here is we bring in all of these feelings and emotions. The neural networks are lit up now so that we can get rid of them. Once we do that, then we go into a session of mental and emotional release where we release all those negative emotions, the anger, the sadness, the guilt, the unworthy, all the limiting beliefs, all the negative emotions, and we do it in less than an hour and a half or so doing that. So now the person is like a clean slate. Their mind has been reset. So now we can instill the new beliefs, the new values, and the things that they want and they desire into who they want to become.
Interesting. And so what are some of the testimonies or the success stories you've had from clients that you've taken them through these processes? What are some of the feedbacks from them?
I just got a 10-minute video from a person I was working with. I'm gonna put it on my site next week. By the time wherever this thing, they can go and they'll see it. She basically talked about the fact that she's a new person. Like now she can do things that she never thought that she could do. Now she can perform like she never performed before. Not that she doesn't still have problems, but the original problems of the feelings of guilt and sadness and shame is gone. The feelings I'm not good enough are gone. And basically she's living a totally different life. I just worked with the person yesterday, the day before, and that almost the same thing he wrote, like, thank you, Curtis, for what you've given me. I was able to push through it. I was able to reframe a situation that I just came up with after we finished our session, because the feelings and the emotions that he was experiencing before, gone. I mean, literally gone. It's like when I'm working with individuals, it's like even I see it often, I'm still in awe of what happens when individuals, when they allow their minds to reframe and heal themselves. I don't heal anybody. Basically, I'm just the coach. I'm basically the person who helps facilitate their healing. But it's amazing at some of the things that happens in individuals' lives once they go through that session.
Interesting. And the people also go through some of these phases, and sometimes they get to a point where they think they know what is happening to them, and they try as much as possible to get solutions to it. But what do you think, or why do you think that people do not also pay particular attention to some of these things?
Why they don't pay attention to
trying to identify what is wrong with them? Because people think people are just living their normal lives. They don't care the issue of the mindset or the issue of whatever it is. Let us go through life. It's whatever it is, we will be fine.
Yeah, because that's their mind. That's their mindset. That's their beliefs and their values. I mean, it's like, I can't change a person who doesn't want to be changed. I can't change a person who does not have a desire to change. Basically, The people that I work with are people who sense that I want to become better. I want to become the best version of myself. I want to break through to the six figures. I want to have better relationships. I want to have a better career. I desire to have a stronger spirituality. I want the body and the mind that I want my body to be fit. Those are the people I work with. If a person is going through life and they're okay with where they are, that's okay, and that's their journey, and I can appreciate that. I tell people all the time, I don't work with individuals who come to me and I said, Obed, how much do you want to change? And you tell me, you know what, Curtis? I say, Obed, from 1 to 10, where are you on a scale of 1 to 10 that you truly want to change? You said, man, I'm telling you, man, I'm around 2 or 3. I said, you know what, Obed? When you get to 7, 8, or 9, call me back, because I don't work with you. Yeah, I don't work with you. They don't have enough motivation.
Yeah. So yes, I was about coming there. In terms of changing our mindsets or aligning our mindset properly, is it a matter of motivation, or is it a matter of aligning, following the right procedure? Like yourself as a coach, now I come to you. Can I just be motivated to change my mindset, or I will need a coach like yourself to be able to do that if I find out that there's something wrong with me?
No. Basically, by hiring a coach, you get there faster, easier than you can by yourself, right? And some things you just can't see. Well, think about it like this. Let's put it in this perspective. If I was a heart surgeon, right? I'm the best heart surgeon in the world, and I have a heart problem. Can I operate on myself?
No. You cannot.
No, because I'm going to give myself anesthesia. Now I'm going to cut myself open. Then I got to wake back up. No, I can't do it. So certain things that if it's deep enough or hard enough, you need someone with a different perspective in order to see it. One of my podcasters told me, and it says, like, it's hard to read the jar it's hard to read the label when you're inside the jar. Meaning, like, it's hard for me to see from a different perspective of the things I truly need. Even I am a coach. I've been doing this for years, and I still hire a coach when I have challenges. So it's like I'm not exempt from this. It's like so a coach allows me to get there quicker, faster, and easier. To give you an example of that is about a year or so ago, I wanted to lose weight, and I have a gym in my house. I wake up, I was doing it 3 days a week. I was lifting, I was having a pretty decent diet, and I was having so-so results. As soon as I hired a coach, is that those so-so results became like drastically improved because of the fact that he could see things that I could not see. So there's nothing wrong with that. It's nothing that I was doing all the right things. I was lifting 3 days a week. I was walking 10,000 steps a day. I was eating great meals, all those things, but I was not having a body that I wanted and desired until I hired a coach in order to see and basically show me the little things. And sometimes it's small little tweaks that they don't see that can make the biggest difference.
Interesting, because people, sometimes the things we do not physically see, I think that sometimes we do not pay particular attention to them. And this is one of the things we are talking about, the mindset. We almost everyone says the mindset, your mind. But because physically we cannot touch the mind, we cannot touch it.
Yeah, but you can't touch the mind, but you can touch what's happening in your life right now.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the question, is that no, basically mindset is not a tangible subject, but the results are. If you are going through life and you have feelings of not being good enough, if you have a thought that you can't reach your full potential, if you're in life where your relationships keep falling apart and you be wondering, what is it about me that causes these relationships things? So the evidence that my mindset is off is the results that I'm getting in my life. If my life is not working the way I want it to work, that's the indication that my mindset is off.
So the kind of life you have now is a direct correlation to the kind of mindset you have.
Absolutely. We talked about it before. Our thoughts are things, as a man thinketh. So sometimes that we forget the simple things. The simple things is that, is it okay? Am I okay with me being like I am, right? That's the first question. And if I say, you know what? I'm a little bit overweight and I'm okay with that. And so I don't want to do anything about it. Fine. That's your life. That's your journey. You do what you want to do. And on the flip side of it, you say, you know what? I look in the mirror and I'm not the person I want to become. And because of my health issues, I need to do something more. Because of my stress level, I need to bring it down because I know that stress is 80% of all illnesses. The reason people get cancer, the reason people get backaches and things is because of their mindset. Then you say, you know what? I want to do something about it. So you don't have to do anything about it. A blind spot, we all have blind spots, but if the blind spot is not preventing you from actually getting what you want, you're okay. I mean, it's okay. And I'm okay with it. My job is not to try to change the world. My job is to change the people who want to be changed.
Who want to be changed. Exactly. Now, success, mostly it's based on your mindset as a person, as we've discussed or as we've spoken about. Now, I've also heard you talking about your energy. The energy you possess determines or drives your success as a person. And this is something you often do not hear in the boardrooms or in other places. If you say energy drives success, what actually do you mean?
What I mean by that, part of what I coach and teach individuals that transference of energy. If you're in selling, right? If you in sales, transference of energy, that's what sells, not news of the product. Is the energy or my being or my confidence, the way I sit, the way I stand, the way I feel about the product. That's what actually drives behavior. So think about it like this. If I came on your podcast, right? You came on your podcast and you asked me a question. I said, you know what, Obed, yeah, man, the energy really sells, man, and you'd be like, man, this guy is like, energy is not there. You'd be like,
I know. Yeah.
Like, so that's the thing about energy. People see it, sense it, and feel it. You don't have to be as motivated or as high as I am, but you need to have an energy of confidence, right? You need to have this persona of being confident. And that's what I'm talking about, transfers of energy, knowing and understanding that 97% of all communication has nothing to do with what I say. It has everything to do with my tonality, my voice, my movements, my body posture. People read bodies. People read the sense. They like, have you ever walked into the room and all of a sudden, a person walk into the room and you can just feel it kind of just chill off, like, wow, they just suck all the energy out of the room, right? and then you got those person who comes into the room. He walks into the room and he's like, wow, there's something about that guy is just like, we want to do business with them. That's what I'm talking about, energy. Energy is that substance that we have, that transference. It transfers to individuals. I think in one of the laws is that energy is never lost. It's only transferred from one form to the next. The law of conservation talks about that. The law of conservation is that energy is never lost. It's only transferred from one source or one form to the next. And that's what we're talking about, the transference of this energy that's kind of magnetic, that feeling, a feeling of love, is all that stuff. It has energy.
Okay. So you need to show that energy, that aura should be around you in order for people to be attracted to you as a person.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, think about it. Like, now, this is the deal, right? Is that all? No, because I've seen people with low energy make sales, right? I've seen people with low energy make millions of dollars. So that's not all. What I'm saying is that the difference that makes the difference, that if we can increase your percentages 5, 10, 20% of what it is now, that's what we're talking about. We're not talking about sometimes these things that we're talking about, Obed, is that it makes us better. It does not mean that this is the end all be all. One of the lessons I was taught by one of my teachers, one of my mentors, he said that all wisdom is not in my school. Meaning, like, what I'm teaching, this is not the only way to become successful, but it's one way. And if it resonates with you, then we can get together and see how can I help and support you, right?
So for leaders who are, let's say, drained, for leaders, let's say, those who have ambitions, but they are burnout, how are they able to, or how should they be able to shift that energy so that, they'll be able to attract more people, they'll be able to attract more followers to do what they are doing?
Well, best of all, they need to acknowledge that there's something there, right? I mean, one of the things I tell people, they says, well, what can you tell me, right? Without me coming to you personally,
Yeah.
what can I do, right? So one of the things I tell people to do is, number one, they have to be honest with themselves. They have to say, hey, if I'm feeling something, acknowledge it. And we'll use sadness for the example. So if I'm feeling sad, I acknowledge the fact that I'm feeling sad. If I'm feeling like that I'm failing, I can acknowledge the fact that I'm feeling like I'm failing.
Yeah.
I mean, listen to what I'm saying is that I didn't say I was a failure. I didn't say I was sad. I said I'm feeling like I'm failing, meaning like I'm putting it outside of me, not me. I'm not identifying with whatever's going on in my life. That's the first thing. Then I tell people all of this too, is that that it's okay not to be okay, but it's not okay to pretend that you're okay and you're not.
Yeah.
And a lot of people pretend that they're okay and they're not. And that basically drains their energy. So one of the first things they need to do is just be honest with themselves. Another biblical passage, it says, confess your faults one to another that you may be healed. Basically what he's saying there in the book of James, it says, look, acknowledge the fact that you are feeling what you're feeling. And then that's when the transformation, that's when the healing actually starts. So the first thing you can do is acknowledge it. And then the next thing you want to do is, now you want to put your body in a healing, activate your parasympathetic nervous system. And the parasympathetic nervous system tells your nervous system that you're safe and that you're okay. And you do that by doing some diaphragmatic breathing. Just breathe in through your belly, in and out 3 or 4 or 5 times until you just feel like, I feel relaxed. Then you ask yourself the question, what is it that I need? What is it I need to learn? How can I now move forward in getting the things I want? And then allow your subconscious mind now to come up with the answers for you. It'll come up with some brilliant answers on how you now can do that. I tell your listeners this, do not ask yourself what questions. What questions basically says why questions. Don't ask why questions. Why questions basically tells your subconscious mind it will go down to that reservoir of thoughts and feelings and emotions and pull out all the reasons why you failed, all the reasons why you're feeling sad. You don't want that. You want to ask what questions? What do I need to do? How can I move forward? What do I need to learn? So that now it searches for answers to give you what you need to move forward. And then another thing you can do is just change your body, change the way you're sitting. If you sit differently and breathe differently, your physiology automatically changes. So stop, when you're talking about being sad, if you're doing this, you're going to feel more sad. If you did this, it's hard for the body or the mind to feel sad when you're in a power or confident position. And so then just wait for those answers, man. Wait for them.
Interesting. These are interesting stuff because, like we are saying, sometimes some of these things, it looks like abstract. We talk about them, but people do not actually, visualize it and be able to say we are applying it to our life because they cannot feel it. And things that people cannot feel, it's difficult for them to relate. And that is why sometimes some of the things people talk about, they are things which is inside us. We can activate them, but because we do not see, now it becomes very difficult for us to even utilize it or maximize it. And you take your time to take people through that. That is interesting job. And you as a person, you've gone through, let's say, some challenges, some setbacks, some breakdowns and all. Now, share with us, what have been some of your darkest moments and how were you able to evolve? How did you come out of it?
I think one of the darkest moments that a parent can ever experience, we lost our son about 4.5 years ago. So that's, and me and my wife, one of our things we say all the time is that everything else is nothing compared to that, right? So, but how do we get through it? Basically, one of the things, how we got through it was, number one, we allow ourselves to grieve. That's one of the things you do is like, basically from that, I allow myself to feel. Because always remember this, a feeling is an emotion that wants to communicate with us and leave. A feeling is an emotion.
A feeling is an emotion that wants to connect with us and leave.
Communicate with us and
leave. Yeah. So
basically, if you're feeling sad, Sadness is an indication that there's a feeling or emotion that wants to communicate with you. As soon as you understand what it is, it's going to keep going. But this is what most people do, Obed. What they do when they feeling sad, they try to push it down or they deny it.
Suppress it.
Suppress it. Or they're feeling afraid to moving forward. They tell themselves, I'm strong. Well,
But not to cut you, but I think that is how we've been told, or that is what we've been told, that you must be strong, you must be this, you must be that, you must be that.
But right now, guess what? But right now you're not. So it's okay. Like remember I told you before, it's okay not to be okay, but don't think you're okay, then you're not. So think about it like this. Back in the day when I first started in motivation was that, you know, the motivational speakers used to say, if it's raining outside, just think sunshine. Just say, hey, it's sunshine. Well, heck, man, it's raining outside. I can acknowledge the fact that it's raining. It is raining. It's okay. It's okay that it's raining. Now I have a choice, right? I have a choice. If it's raining outside, I can acknowledge the fact that it is raining. I can do one of three things. Number one, I can say, today, I want to be whimsical. I want to walk out into the rain with nothing on. I'm just get wet and I'm going to have fun. That's one thing I can do. Other thing is, you know what? It's raining outside. I want to put my rain cap on. I'm going to get my umbrella. I'm going to get my galoshes. I'm going to get my coat because I need to go from point A to point B. Or number three, it says, you know what, it's raining outside, but I'm just going to utilize this opportunity to do something inside. I won't be able to do what I want outside, but I'm going to still work with my mind inside. It's okay. And that's what I'm saying is acknowledging how we're feeling and then allowing it to communicate with is so important to us as we move forward. And it'll tell you, it's going to give you some inspired action. And this is the key to it. When things do come, it's going to say, if it is like, man, I'm feeling afraid to make that call, right? That's the feeling that's coming up. I'm feeling afraid. Then I'm like, okay, I'm breathing. I'm now asking, what is it I need to do? What is it I need to say? What is it I need to move me forward? What might come up, it says, make the call. That's what came up, right? So that's the thought or the learning that make the call. And this is what we do says, but no, make the call. You got to, when your mind tells you to do something on that level, you need to take inspired action and do it and keep moving forward. So that's part of what I teach my clients to do.
Interesting. For someone listening to us or watching us who feels like life is against you or her, what message would you give to that person today?
That life is against them?
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically, that means that, number one, I can appreciate that. But I ask them a question, is that true? Is it true? I mean, because what happens is that sometimes what we need to do with those beliefs is just question it. Okay. Is it always true? I mean, you says everybody's against you? No, not everybody. But who specifically is against you? Well, I can't think of it. That's what I'm saying. When we question
I can't pinpoint and say this person or that.
Because then what happens is that loosens up the belief that it's not true. And always remember, all this. One of the things in neurolinguistic programming is that our perception is whatever the perception is that's true to us. Then my job as the coach is to respect the person's model of the world, even though their model of the world, their perception is not true. It's not. In order for me to go into their world, I have to acknowledge it and I have to respect it. Then I have to help them shift it. But whatever we're thinking. It's just, think about it, it's always based on some stuff that we learned way back when we were a child and all this stuff. It has all to do with that and not true. The map is, I think one of the things is the map is not the territory. The map is just the map and not the actual location. And that's kind of that's the way I look at it.
So, I don't know, but in your line of work, the people you've met, the clients who have come in contact with you, that you've helped them to reset or reprogram their minds. For the entrepreneur, for the business person, for the student or the leader watching us, listening to us, what are some of the things that you lay to them for them or to help them to reprogram their minds and also for it to stay in flow so that, yes, it can help their journey, whether their student life, their leadership life, their entrepreneurship life today. Okay. Yes. So those people, what would be the things you can say to them or the tools or the framework you can give to them for them to be able to reset or reprogram their minds, and then for it to stay in flow?
Basically, think about it like this. We talked about it already. The 5 things I think
Yeah.
3 or 4 things we talked about: acknowledging it, reframing it, allowing yourself and ask yourself the right questions. Then if it's something else, question it. Is it true or not? And then allow ourselves to come up with something. Our inner or higher self's going to come up with some answers for us.
Yeah.
That's one of the best ways they can do it on their own. The other thing they need
Okay.
to do is always remember is think about conditioning. One of the things I do with all of my clients is I create what I call a bespoke daily mental supplement. Think about taking a multivitamin. What I do, I create these small 5 to 10 minute meditations that, based on whatever we covered in that particular session, that's then reinforced by me doing a meditation with them on a daily basis. So basically, think about exercising the brain and exercising your subconscious mind. So once we release the negative energy, release the negative emotions, that still needs to be conditioned because of the fact, just like anything else, if you wake up this morning and you take a shower today, is it going to stick for the rest of your life? No. Basically, you need to, next morning, I hope you're going to take another one, another. Same thing with our mind. Everything that we need to start doing is actually to protect our mind. Even the small things like I talked about before, I turn off the volume when it comes to I've been doing that for years. I turn off the volume when it comes to different commercials because I don't want to hear it. I'm not sick. I don't want to take that on as being something that I want in my life. So those small things like that. Then another thing we can do is start watching the self-talk that how we talk about ourselves. Always remember the subconscious mind is always listening. So it's like if you call yourself a loser, I'm always losing stuff. I'm a loser. I'm a failure. Basically what the subconscious mind says, oh, okay, that's what you want. We can give it to you easily, without effort. I'll make it happen for you. So just watch the language, the negative language that we talk to about ourselves. Watch that type of language and change it.
But as you work through or you work with global leaders and all, what do you think? Like, how do you see, or what do you see is a common pattern among those who thrive?
Usually, one common thing I find in most individuals is the feeling of I'm not good enough, or I'm not worthy, or I'm not capable. Those are the biggest ones, man. And people walk around and they feel like they're not good enough, or they're not smart enough, or they have the imposter syndrome. They have some success, but they feel like they don't deserve it. I'm not deserving. Those are the major issues that most of us suffer because of the fact that that's what we were taught. Some way, form, or fashion, even though our parents, grandparents, and all the people around us did their best to raise us. But if someone said one little small offhanded remark that as a 2-year-old, you interpret it as something totally different, that's still the belief that you have that now needs to be reprogrammed. And that's the thing about it. Most of us don't even know that program is working or that program is running. And that's kind of what it is.
Yes. So as we are wrapping up, or we wrap up, what does purpose mean to you? And how would I know that I'm aligning, or I've aligned with my purpose, or I'm working in my purpose as an individual?
A purpose mean to me is that I'm working in flow. I'm in a position where that what I do is not work, is just something that comes to me naturally, and it's fulfilling, something that I just know that my God-given talents are being used in a special way. What I do right now is part of my purpose, is helping others become the best version of themselves. That's the purpose of mine. I do it, and I do it for free. And I've done it for free. That's kind of when I know when my purpose, and everybody might be a little bit different, but for me, it's like doing things that you love doing, and just because you could do it, regardless of how much money I make or because of how much money I don't have, I still do what I'm doing.
You have done this for a couple of years. You've helped people, you've mentored people, you've trained people and all. You've come in contact with different kinds of people from diverse backgrounds. Now, when all is said and done, how do you want to be remembered as a man who came to do what?
To help others. Basically, I want to be remembered for, I think one of my highest values, I'm looking at it right now, is that my first value is love, and that's transference of energy that connects to the heart. My second value is helping others. That's empowering people to achieve their fullest potential. And my third value is passion, driving force that energizes purpose and fulfillment. So that's kind of what I even live by. Those are my core values that I operate every day. And then my third one is making money, because that's important. Why is making money important? Because, see, this is the thing. Making money for me is exchange of energy that sustains impactful work. I can't do what I keep doing if I'm not, it's an impactful. It kind of creates growth and benevolence. I can't give to others. I can't give to causes. I can't do it if I don't have making money. And in lifestyle, like I tell people all the time, my wife loves first class trips. She loves beautiful things. And so in order for me to do that, I have to make money for a purpose. And the purpose is for helping others. For that, because I love what I do. It kind of goes around and around and around.
How can listeners, viewers, how can we connect with your work? How can we connect with you? And in case I have blind spots, I want to come to you. How do I connect with you? Are there any books you've written, the services you render, and all? Share with us as we wrap up.
Basically, they can go to my website. They can either go to Bespoke Human Potential Coaching, or they can go to curtismccullom.com. It'll still lead you to my website. And on my website, we have everything that I offer is on there. You can get in touch with me. We have a free 15-minute introduction call. If you're not quite sure where you want to go or what direction to go in, I would say the personal interview. If it's something in sales, we can do a 30-minute sales clarity call. If it's something for transformation, we'll do a 30-minute transformation call. And both of them are separate forms. They can fill out any of those forms, or they just want to contact me, they can contact me there. Also, I'm on LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, and the other one too. All of them. Facebook. Yeah, they can find me at Curtis McCullom, at Curtis McCullom, or Bespoke on Facebook. So yeah, either one.
Thank you so much for not just sharing today's strategies, but you've gone deeper with the truths, and then also help us to unravel what actually the blind spots that we have, and the things, our limiting beliefs, and all our hidden fears, and all that we kind of, fear, and it's not making us realize our full potential as you're on the journey of helping people to untap or to unlock everything that is in them to perform at their highest peak. Yes, I know listeners, viewers who gets hold of this video audio will learn a lot how to break away from that limiting beliefs, and then that mindset that you have, and then the challenges coming out of all the setbacks, how you can be yourself, become aware, you acknowledge those things, and then you move on. So thank you very much for coming on the King Obed Podcast. Yes.
Thank you.
Any final words you want to say? And then we just bring it to a close.
No, I just tell people that, as I said earlier, is that number one, be authentic to who you are. Now, I think authenticity is what the world is actually seeking for right now. People want authentic people. And I'll leave it with this, is that it's okay not to be okay, but it's not okay to pretend that you're okay and you're not. And just allow yourself to be who you are, acknowledge it so that you can start moving forward to become the best version of yourself.
Thank you, Curtis. Connect with Curtis on all the social media platforms. Visit his website and connect with him. He's doing so well, amazing job, and his team, and they're going to sort you out to perform at your highest peak. And this is the King Obed Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe, share to your loved ones, and let's continue to unearth, to maximize our potentials as we continue to explore what the Maker has given to us. Until we meet again on the next episode, say bye-bye. Yes, thank you very much.